There's been mood for change in Britain. Now, after 14 years in the political wilderness, Labour is back, with Sir Keir Starmer about to move into 10 Downing Street.
We have one job, which is to make this a summer of change.
I think we'll expect a fairly pragmatic approach to most policies and most issues. He's a fairly calm, reassuring figure.
Keir Starmer was born in 1962 and grew up in the town of Oxted in Surrey. His father was a toolmaker and his mother a nurse. He often made mention of his modest beginnings.
My mum and dad were scared of debt, so they would choose the bill that they wouldn't pay. They would have the phone cut off rather than pay the bill, because it was the easiest one to do without.
One of 4 children, Keir Starmer was the first member of his family to go to university, studying at Leeds and Oxford. He began working as a barrister specialising in human rights and took on big cases involving Shell and also McDonald's in what became known as the McLibel case. He also worked as a legal advisor on the Good Friday Agreement during former Prime Minister Tony Blair's term. It was the historic deal to bring an end to the decades-long violence in Northern Ireland.
He's not got the kind of charisma or inspiring character that, say, Tony Blair had, and he's been criticised for that. Although I think he's quite different in private from what he is in public, where he is quite stiff, quite awkward, and not a sparkling speaker by any stretch of the imagination.
It was while working as a lawyer Keir Starmer met Victoria Alexander. They married in 2007. He became head of the Crown Prosecution Service and Director of Public Prosecutions in 2008.
All the available evidence, including the new material, has now been carefully considered by the CPS.
In 2014, Keir Starmer was knighted for services to criminal justice. A year later, he was elected as Labour MP for a London constituency and rose quickly within the party. He served as an opposition spokesman on immigration and also Brexit.
For the Labour Party, this is a very difficult bill.
A year after a crushing election loss for Labour under Jeremy Corbyn, Sir Keir set out to drag the Labour Party back to the centre when he became leader.
It is the honour and the privilege of my life to be elected as leader of the Labour Party.
A lifelong Arsenal fan, Sir Keir still plays football with his friends and attends games with his 2 children. He says a drive to make the world a fairer place saw him embark on his political career, but observers say he's played it safe during the election campaign.
So Keir Starmer's desperate not to frighten anyone. People here talk about what they call a Ming vase strategy, that if you're way ahead in the polls, you don't want to do anything that causes you to drop that very expensive vase, that big prize of getting elected.
Now the 61-year-old will have to deliver as Prime Minister.
The key crunch will come, I think, if the Starmer government doesn't manage to get the kind of economic growth that it's promised.
In 5 years' time, we will be able to look back and say you are truly better off, your public services are working properly, and the economy is working for everyone.
A position of power that will ultimately come with some tough decisions.
Thank you all so much.
Matt Cargill, ABC News.